The news.
The news.
The news. Behind the statist media lies.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brock Lawley program. My name is Brock Lawley. I am your fearless host. A whole bed. A whole huge sort of rapper's bed. Filled with stories. You know what I mean? Like Hugh Hefner's bed full of stories. So I had to break it up into two parts. And this is part deux. For my Upper East Side leftists that would prefer to be European. Part deux. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, here are the stories that did not make the first sort of news headline segment today. There's a piece in the Wall Street Journal. We have to make the best of it. The Trump thing. Bear in mind, Wall Street Journal was just like vehemently against the Donald, but they're like, look, got to make the best of it. They don't really know what to expect from him. They just openly admit that. And I've always said this. I mean, I'm on board with this. I think Donald Trump is like taking a pair of dice, right? And just rolling the dice on the craps table or whatever of life. I mean, that's that. I mean, I think that's fair. But, again, if you were to look at Republican legacy here in the last 10 years, it's like not even having dice. I'm serious. That's how bad it is. It's like the average voter's like, all right, give me the dice. I mean, I'm not loving my chances here, but I'll take the dice. I want to take a roll. The Republicans are like, we'll take the bet money. This is the Republicans' philosophy in keeping with this horrible Vegas analogy I got myself in the middle of here. The Republican Party was like, give us the bet money. Throw down your hundies down here on these little bet squares. And then it's time to like roll a dice or get some sort of action or get some sort of, play. And Republicans like, no dice. It was just laying down the money part. Yeah, there's no chance of any kind of like winning or, having your big Vegas moment. There's just the laying the money part down and then the you leaving and taking what you get part. Taking the screw that you get. So what Donald Trump figured out is like this Republican Party, for goodness sake, I'm just going to come and give them a set of dice. House always wins anyway. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Wall Street Journal's like, we don't know what to make of this guy. We don't know. We'll hope for the best. And if you read their piece, and this isn't just them, this is a lot of wonky guys. Foreign policy is what most worries them. This is where I stand on this. If foreign policy is such a worry for the Wall Street Journal, why is 4 more years of Hillary Clinton not the nightmare scenario? Have you guys been awake for the last 8 years on the global arena? Have you been conscious? Are you comatose? Are you in some sort of like vegetative state? Barack Obama has the world on fire by way of foreign policy. Literally on fire. Like something that Smokey the Bear would just be like crying in his little fur about. Just fiscal fires, foreign policy fires, domestic racial fires. So if you're concerned about international politics or if you're concerned about foreign policy, I mean, at the very least, what we'll have is a very audacious and at least on the veneer end, strong leader with the world's largest and most powerful military behind him. And he won't be signing deals that empower, that not only give the Iranians nuclear weapons, but also give them several hundreds of billions of dollars of research money to wreak havoc and kill innocents, including Americans global-wide. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, again, no matter how bad you paint the picture, we're still better off. I mean, that's the literal state of the United States of America right now, both in foreign policy and domestic policy. It literally can't get worse. Literally. So anyway, there it is, Wall Street Journal. But there's a piece. It's actually pretty thoughtful. I think it pretty much lays out most people's concerns, as far as I can tell. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hill describes it as child migration. And by the way, the Hill is not a conservative paper, so bear that in mind. The Hill calls it child migration. Here's what it actually is. Do you remember when thousands and tens of thousands of children were pouring across the border, and then the United States was secretly having them in warehouses where the media wasn't allowed to be, which, by the way, just so happens to be against the law. But law, I mean, what we talk about Barack Obama's administration. Law is just what they want it to be. Nonetheless, it's happening again. Second wave. Media's ignoring it like they would. Certainly this isn't going to play well on TV as they're having a debate about immigration. But child immigration from South America is soaring again. Again, I remind you, the Hill's not a conservative site. They've done the research. I mean, on a political level, this is clearly ammunition for the Republican nominee, Donald. It's clearly like wall fodder. But ladies and gentlemen, even on the humanitarian end of this, and this is always where my focus was the last round of this, you just have these sick kids pouring into the country, and then the United States of America doesn't want the political liability. Should they shove them in warehouses? I want you to imagine this, okay? Imagine the desperation. These kids have had to deal with mules, drug cartels, walking or hitching some little Pippi Longstocking ride on a train across the southern border. Imagine the state that these children are in. Then you shove them all into some warehouse where they're coughing all over each other, or God only knows what's going on in there because you can't see anything because the press isn't allowed in. This is happening in the United States of America. That's how abysmal our border policy is. That's how out to lunch these people are. That's how corrupt they are. Be it the Chambers of Commerce, which basically wants slave labor, or the Democratic Party wants to use these poor people as votes to push their Marxist agenda. This is the human capital that's being traded across the board of immigration policy. And then guys like me who are like, hey, this isn't a good idea. Maybe these children should stay with their families. I know it's economically not good down there. Here's an idea as to how to fix it. Take the despot, the leftist despot, I might add, out of power in South America, and their natural resources will form an economy. Their economy will full of jobs. It will lift people out of poverty. Instead of doing that, just pour across the United States. Separate children from families. And I'm the guy who's the heartless scumbag for saying this. Only in the leftist Looneyville does that make any sense. How can insisting that a man go into a men's room be violating their civil rights? That's the question on the table. Well, it can if you're a member of Barack Obama's Justice Department. Now that's the new civil rights. Think about this, my fellow Americans. That's how far into Crazyville we've wandered. Now bear in mind, again, the Democratic Party is just using these social issues to gain power. I just want that to be said and understood. But wading into this cesspool of an issue, you have to believe this, bear in mind, some guy wants to just milly-nilly, and by the way, you can see these YouTube videos online about Target. You got these guys just trying to expose this stuff, just randomly going into Target and saying, hey, I just feel like going into the girls' room. There was just a hot chick that went in there. I'd like to sneak a peek. I'm going in there. Do you have a problem with this? And Target is left to say, no, there's nothing we can do. March on in. Get your voyeur fix on it. Target or us. This is a civil rights issue to the left. A dude with twig and berries should have to go into a men's room. Full stop. If saying that makes me a bigot in 2016, fine. Because crazy, ladies and gentlemen, is crazy no matter what the left is trying to do politically. No matter what kind of leftist shenanigans are going on, crazy is still crazy. That's just, I'm not moving. I'm not budging. That's nutso. That's crazy. They're wrong. I don't care what they're called. I don't care what their latest hyperbolic, get MTV all involved, Anderson Cooper's out there. Can you believe the injustice of this? I mean, this 6'2", former tight end for the New England Patriots wants to go into the little girls' room, and they're not letting him. Oh my gosh, the civil rights catastrophe. More on this story. CNN, after the break. Joke. New York Times has this piece. The panties in a bunch. Oh, they're upset. California wants to regulate water vapor, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's exactly right. That's what these new e-cigarettes are. And don't worry about the fact that it's been astonishingly successful at helping people stop the habit of smoking. Forget that. They don't like it. It looks like smoking. Now, granted, they're fine if you want to smoke weed in public around children. Fine. And they don't find this to be inconsistent at all. I don't know why. Probably because they're detached from reality. But yes, I'm not kidding. I reiterate, California's passing laws to ban water vapor. Scary water vapor. Now, granted, you're allowed to walk into a woman's bathroom if you're a sick, perverted man who means nothing but deviance. But water vapor, that's where the left draws the line. Water vapor. Again, New York Times scribbling about that. The left will try to erase Anthony Scalia's memory from history. That's what they're doing, by the way, and they're starting at George Mason University. That's what the left does. They scribble out from the history books the things they don't like, the people they don't like, the ideas they don't like, the thoughts they don't like, the words they don't like, the come hither looks they don't like. They just want to erase it. They just want to make it go away. Anthony Scalia, a powerful juggernaut of thought, the conservative movement, a pillar of justice in this nation, problematic for the left. What's their strategy? Erase him. Erase him. It's Orwellian, frightening. All I can do is bring it to your attention. Wall Street Journal has that piece. Ann Coulter, ladies and gentlemen, quote, believe Trump on the immigration issue. Believe Trump on the border, so says she. She's been behind him from the beginning. It's been a bumpy ride, even for Ann Coulter. She admits that. AnnCoulter.com has her piece. It's extremely entertaining, extremely thoughtful. Trump's first 100 days, fascinating piece in the New York Times. He talks to the New York Times about this. Why, I don't know. You can't exactly work out the details, but that's in stride with the Trumpsters' attitude towards politics anyway. And lastly, Salon.com. Oh, what a beacon of intellectual sophistication is Salon. Salon's basically like what you wrap your fish in when you're done with the day at the lake. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump is a sexist pig. Full stop. End of sentence. That's the beginning and end of their thoughtful piece. I've read it, unfortunately for me. And this is what they're banking their surety in. He has a woman's problem. They call it the woman thing. And they think because of that they can't lose the election. Au contraire, my dear Libbies. Au contraire. I would not hang my hat. I would not push my chips on that bet just yet. Thank you for listening to the Brock Lawley program. Be a people of fortitude. Be a people of character. Be a people of courage.
Typical white person.
À Brock Lawley Productions.